Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 7th of November. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you an overview of what we can all expect collectively, but please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail each of the signs from Aries through to Pisces and the key influences for each of those. Now, this week sees on Tuesday a total lunar eclipse, an event which is going to provide an influence for the next 6 months. Now, the sign of Taurus where this occurs is actually where the moon is rather happy. It's exalted in the sign of Taurus, so it's its second favourite location after being domiciled in the sign of Cancer, but it's very close to the planet of disruption, Uranus. And if you recall, over the last couple of years, Uranus and the planet of restriction, Saturn, in the sign of the collective, Aquarius, have off and on been grating in an attritional and stressful right angle called a square. Now that threads its way through this event. Now, we also have close to the Moon and Uranus the North Node, a very significant point in terms of our collective destiny. But on the other side of the heavens, we have the Sun, Mercury and Venus all in Scorpio. The significance of the cluster in Taurus, the cluster in Scorpio and the position of Saturn is they're all in fixed signs. Fixed signs prefer continuity. They're happier with knowing how things are, maintaining a degree of stability. So Uranus is pushing us to be more outspoken about our rights in terms of our self-worth. So we're seeing a lot of protest and dissent, but also we're seeing the cost of living crisis, and a lot of that is because the second house of Taurus governs food and food distribution. Now obviously we also have the sign of Taurus being an earth sign, very much about the environment and the cost of utilities to heat our homes, to cook with, to light our homes as well. All these are hot topics. So the way people are relating to the right angle between Uranus and Saturn, and have been over the last couple of years, whether it's big government, big business, individuals, collective associations, such as citizens, finding an outlet through social media, or perhaps union output, is that everybody has a different take on how they want changes to occur. And it's obvious that some kind of reset is occurring, and we need to try to adapt to deal with this, and it's really not easy. Now, concurrent to this, the two rulers of the sign of Scorpio are in conflict, Mars and Pluto. So Pluto's in the part of the horoscope that's to do with wanting to maintain the old world order, so big government, big business. But Mars is in the part of the zodiac which is to do with how we think and articulate our ideas, but it's now in retrograde. But they're not on good terms. So this adds to the strident mix that's bubbling up. Also, Mars is in a right angle to Neptune, the planet of dreams and the ephemeral world. And this is creating a lot of illusions, a lot of dishonesty, quite honestly. And we're finding that more and more stories about corruption and dishonesty, particularly around money and people looking out for their friends when they have influence, or we're also seeing sexual impropriety. A lot of stories are coming to the open. So all of this is going to be quite a feature over the next 6 months. But please stay with me as I decipher all of this for each of your 12 zodiac signs. But if you would like to understand what year 2023 will hold for you as an individual based on Sirius astrology, and rise above your zodiac forecast, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data of time, date and place of birth, I can produce your forecast for next year. And in my special package, you get the rest of this year free, and also your life roadmap, your character analysis, which helps you to understand some of the patterns that have repeated themselves, perhaps more difficult energies, but also help you to have greater understanding of your opportunities. And there's 30% off. Please see the link below. Finally, if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for joining me. I'd love it if you would subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. If you're an ongoing viewer, thank you so much for all your support. So Pisces, your week commencing the 7th of November forecast sees an enormous amount of electric energy buzzing around your chart. This can give you the desire to share ideas, have big conversations. The energy that's in the sign of Scorpio is very much about discovery of deeper themes, but perhaps a lot of knowledge. If you're interested in philosophy or spirituality, there can be a huge expansion going on around you at the moment. You know, if you're learning something like astrology, for example, your desire to increase and quicken the pace in terms of the acquisition of that knowledge can really be a feature of this week. What's not to like? Well, it's just darn Saturn, isn't it? Locked in your 12th house has seen some Pisces anyway want to retreat, want to be very protective, want to hunker down. It makes me think of the Hermit card in tarot that you have been experiencing over the last few years. And of course, Neptune, your co-ruler, is in that mangle with Mars. So when it comes to your emotional situation, things can feel a bit sluggish, not quite sure what to do about where to live, I'm getting, but a lot of vibrancy around the exchange of ideas. You know, you could find yourself embracing technology if you've always been a born-again Luddite. If you're someone who's really into technology, you may want to liberate yourself from it and go and experience some other form of stimulation. Lots of contrasts and paradoxes for all of us this week, but I think the main one is Saturn in the 12th house has really been asking you over the last couple of years to come to terms with some of the sadnesses or isolation or rejections that may have occurred, that occur to all of us in life. But if there is any outstanding strands that have been very powerfully controlling you in the here and now, those are what you need to work on. And of course, Saturn's moving into your sign on March the 7th, and it really is the beginning of a new journey for you. So I feel that a lot of work will already have been done, but on this particular eclipse, if some of your ideas or belief systems or way you express yourself or your approach to interactions with others is still being controlled by past influences that weren't necessarily for your own good, then this is a time to really try to embrace the upside of Saturn in the 12th house before he moves into your sign, and that really will be that new dawn for you.